Hey riders, Eric with Ride Adventures here. You know, my teammates and I, we've been running Baja motorcycle tours for a few years now, and in addition to having a lot of fun down there with some of you, we've also learned a lot. So before your next big Baja trip, whether you're coming with us or going on your own, I want to talk through some of these things that we've learned and make sure you're ready for what's ahead. So let's get in character. So let's get right into it. You know, before your trip, let's assume most people are actually going to be riding from the US down into Baja. It's time to think about the insurance of the vehicle that you're going to be riding. You know, as part of what we do as a tour company, we arrange all that for you. But if you're driving your own vehicle, most often, no matter what country you're from, the insurance that you already have in your home country will not apply in Mexico. So you're going to need to get special Mexican insurance. You can do a quick search online, find that, have it printed out and ready in advance. Right around the borders, you can typically find shops offering such insurance for Mexico too, but it's good to, of course, take care of that in advance so you don't have one more thing to do there at the border. And then once you're actually there at the border, going into Baja is slightly different, at least as of the time we're filming this. It's a little different than mainland Mexico. In mainland Mexico, you have to leave a bond, some sort of a deposit, saying that you only get that deposit back when you leave Mexico with that vehicle. They're trying to stop the importation of, too many vehicles. But Baja is different. We don't have to deal with that. We basically just ride through the border and don't have to do bonds on the vehicles. And there is the opportunity to stop right there and get your tourist visa. It's a good idea to get that because you never know as you go from Baja north down into Baja south, kind of at the midway point there, and other checkpoints actually, they could ask for a tourist visa. So grab it while you're there at the border before going further south. So you made it across the border, and hopefully you remember, like I did my first time, Officer Antonio saying, "Welcome to Mexico." That feeling is there, but watch out right away because topes are ahead. If you Google it, it actually translates into bumpers, but topes are basically speed bumps. And just like anywhere in the world, they're meant to moderate speed and keep people under control with how fast they're going. But in Mexico, they can be very serious, the size and the abruptness of these topes. So always be monitoring your speed. This isn't a place to go fast. Watch for those signs and do not go too fast into one of these possibly trip-ending topes that lies ahead. So those topes I was talking about are generally found around the cities and municipalities, keep the speeds down, but not all of Baja is like that. You can get into some very remote territories, and if you're not prepared for such, well, let's think about it. What if you don't have fuel available or medical services if something goes wrong? Even just food. A lot of very remote territories are out there in Baja. So, we actually made another video about this, and there'll be a link somewhere around here talking about the essential items you should have as a solo adventure motorcycle traveler. If you're going off pavement and you're getting away from society and all these support services and things like that, essential items to have with you could be the difference of getting out of a situation or not, because you just never know when a bike is going to fail, the electronics or whatever, maybe your gas reading was wrong. And so, yeah, a lot of things can go wrong in remote territories, especially if you're alone. So think about that in advance and prepare and pack accordingly. With those remote spaces comes sometimes unimproved or neglected roads, road debris, things like just don't get taken care of on such seldomly traveled gravel pavement and dirt roads and sand sections and stuff like that. So we actually made another video talking about crash avoidance techniques and tips that you can consider. One of those being to avoid target fixation. When you've got that pothole or that rock or whatever it is in the road, don't allow yourself to get fixed on it by staring at it, because you could end up hitting what it is you don't want to hit. So again, just think about unimproved roads and keep your eyes open at all times. And again, on such remote, unused roads comes possibly wildlife and livestock. So cows and donkeys and things like that might have the freedom to roam across the road when you're least expecting it. It's kind of an open range situation like we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Animals can cross the road anytime, popping out of the bushes. Be ready for that. Also, because you're on such rarely used and quiet roads, sometimes the driving behaviors of others are not expecting that you will be there around the corner. So treat every curve like it's a blind curve, and you never know what's going to happen around the next turn. So be ready for a lot of different things that can happen, even though it seems like nothing's going on around you. As I've explained, there's a lot of variety possible too in Baja. Again, you've got the pavement, the dirt, you've got the sand, you've got the gravel, you've got pretty much every type of terrain you would want to ride down there. And as such, how are you going to pick the right bike? Well, we've actually made another video on this topic too. There will be a link somewhere. Check it out. But you know, it's kind of the truth that lies anywhere in the world that you're going to be riding. If you're going to be in the dirt and the single track and the sand, the deep stuff, the stuff where you don't want a heavy bike, yeah, you probably want a single cylinder dirt bike type situation with enough fuel capacity to keep you going through those remote territories. But if you're just going to be on pavement or simple gravel roads or whatever, you know, a twin cylinder adventure type bike or just a road bike, 2, 3, 4 cylinders or whatever, can be real nice and a lot of fun down in Baja. So think about how you're going to pack and what you're going to bring in terms of riding gear, and don't just assume because of where it is on the map that Baja of Mexico is going to be warm the whole time. It's not. Up in the northern mountains at higher altitudes on El Compadre Trail, and if you go to Mike's Sky Ranch, you're actually kind of at altitude there, and especially in the January, February, March months, it can get quite cold. So pack accordingly. You can get a lot of nice weather too along the coast. It can be very comfortable and you won't even need a jacket. But in those higher altitudes, get ready for some possible cold, and snow and ice is even possible too. So. Just like anywhere else in the world, drivers do tend to signal and use their flashers and indicators to let you know what's going on ahead, whether it's okay to pass them or whatever. Just keep in mind that, again, like anywhere else in the world, different signals from different drivers might mean different things, so don't assume that it's the same as where you're used to riding. Be careful, make your decisions based on what you see and what you know you can do. And while we, of course, strive to not ride at night, typically for safety, obvious reasons, keep in mind that in Mexico, you can find a lot of cars driving without even either headlight working, so be very cautious in particular if you do get stuck riding in a dark situation. My last suggestion, possibly the most important one for you, is don't leave San Jose del Cabo without getting the tacos camarones al ajillo at the restaurant called Lateral Crudo. It's kind of right in the main shopping district. We'll try and leave a link in the description below, but great garlic, buttery, shrimpy tacos that you will return to Baja alone for, aside from all the great riding and fun you'll have. So if there's anything I forgot to mention, things that'll help other riders make their Baja trip a success or a better taco place than the one that I'm mentioning, please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ride on. We'll see you in Baja.